back to Indian Racing League Season 4, and this is round 4 of the Division 1 of our F1 Racing League. We have almost everyone joining in. We have had a couple of issues with connections for people, but I think we should be golden to go for in the next few seconds, I believe. So, okay, I have just received a message that we might be going to another lobby. So while we do that, joining me in the comms box is Rahul Shah or Shah 2224. You might know him. Shah, how are you? And what happened yesterday?
Hey Malav, hi everyone. So yesterday we had a few issues with the same lobby glitching, the same way we're facing issues right now. So I'm expecting we at least get to race this time. Because yesterday we started the race. I was actually leading the race when the committee gave a call that we should end the lobby because a lot of people were glitched, ghosted, and they couldn't, race.
Yeah, let's hope so that Division 1 gets to race because the race for Division 2 was cancelled, which will be taking place sometime later in the season, I believe, Shah. So I am hoping
Yes.
to see you guys race around this track, which is one of my favorite tracks on the calendar, despite it being very tough to overtake on. Uh, yeah, we have just joined a new lobby, so Shah, I believe you're already in.
I'm in.
So yeah, good. So we will wait for drivers to select their cars and do some last minute. I don't know what adjustments they need to do, but just pray. I think that's the only thing we can do right now to Codemasters that this lobby works
Yeah.
because it has been something which has been a bit of a nuisance of late. So either ways, Shah, how do you like this track? What are your thoughts about this track, and in terms of strategies, in terms of battles, in terms of tires, etc., etc.
So it's a fun track because there are so many fast corners. Like you said, overtaking is difficult, but when there's an opportunity to overtake on the main straight, you can make a good move because as soon as you turn, like say if you're overtaking someone, you're behind someone with that DRS and the slipstream.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you take the turn, it just opens up, and then you need to brake really quick for turn two. So someone who's got good racecraft or good race experience can make good overtakes there. And then there are few corners where if you take too much of the curves, you spin. Like you say, lava corners, the curves you're not supposed to touch. So those corners. So that'll be fun how people take those corners because here this is a track where you can also lose a lot of time. There's no alternate racing lines like how on other tracks. There's one fast racing line, but there's also few alternate lines. Here you just have one because the corners are really tight and quick. If you slow down a lot, then you lose a lot of time. So it'll be fun to see how people put their lap times, and also as strategy, tires here degrade really quick. That's one thing I've learned since I was practicing for a week. So there are quite a few strategies people can work out. Say if they start on softs, then pulling out one stopper softs to hards is also really difficult because the tires degrade really quick. And if not the strategy, I would suggest, and what I was doing yesterday was mediums to hards. So I think that's the go-to strategy. But let's see how people decide on what tires to go on.
Right, and for the people who are watching, if you don't know what the lava corner is or the lava curve is, that's turn 5 we are referring to, the right hander, where if you touch the inside curve, you are most likely to spin your car. So I think the drivers will be taking care of that. These are the best drivers in the division on paper, so let's hope they show us that they are the best drivers in the division. Either ways, we are still waiting for a couple of last minute changes to the settings, but we should be underway pretty soon. As hang on, I've got a message which I need to respond to.
So anyone watching the stream for the first time, how it works is there's an 18-minute quali. and then we have a 50% race. I think the 35 laps, and there's one mandatory pit stop. How it works in F1. So yeah, it'll be a fun race. We didn't race yesterday. I'm quite excited for this one.
Yeah, I can see a few Division 2 drivers here right now. With I think Hash is one of them, Racing Gupta is one of them. No, Racing Gupta, I'm not entirely sure.
We've got Nishan here. Nishan, he's a really
Nishan
good
is here,
driver.
Sid
Yeah.
Venkatesh is here. So, plenty of Division 2 drivers wanting to get the racing fix for the weekend done. And you can see drivers now reading up. So, we will be underway and we should be hoping to see some quick lap times in this 18-minute short qualifying. As you said, tires degrade really fast here, and I think at the same time it's also a matter of tire temperatures because of those long swooping corners. I've seen a lot of people struggle with tire temperatures. While it doesn't show up on your screen by itself, but if you monitor them, you will see that tire temperatures do impact performance, and at the same time they can impact your lap times as well. Let me have a quick look at the championship standings. We all know who's leading right now in the drivers championship, but what I'm particularly interested is the constructors championship, if there are any surprises here right now. So Caesar is leading the drivers championship by 16 points right now to VFX, who is in P2 with 61 points, and Arjun S. Ravi is in P3 with 49. In terms of the constructors championship, is Williams Racing, so no surprises there. Unfortunately, 106 points for the Williams drivers. They've scored a podium in each of the races. It's Sonic Hawk who's not racing tonight, and Arjun S. Ravi in the Alfa Romeo in 67. So, and Kanav and VFX, I don't know if Kanav is racing tonight, but the Ferrari boys are in P3 with 61 points. So, I think they can probably hope to jump the Alfa Romeo guys, especially since one driver from each team does not seem to be in the lobby. But yeah, Shah, how bored are you looking at the same podium finish every time in Division 1? And it must be exciting in Division 2 because, yes, there are fast guys there as well, but it seems like it's more the pace which they have and the pace which you guys have. It's still pretty close, rather than there's not a lot of huge pace difference between the drivers in the second division as it's raining in quali.
Oh wow, yeah, it's fun. Yeah, so a wet quali just changes everything we've discussed. Like what tires are people going to start on? Because now they don't have to worry about what fast lap time they set on what tire. Now they have a free tire choice. I believe if the rain stays for next 18 minutes, that way they
Absolutely,
could.
they will have
Yeah,
free tire choice if it rains throughout this quali session. So you can
right.
probably expect to see a lot of medium runners for the race, but at the start of the race rather. But you never know. You can see probably someone put on a pair of softs as well, which would be surprising. But you can see someone on hards as well. So if I remember last time around, it was Caesar who started P19, could not put a quali lap in because of some other commitments. He started P19 on hards and actually finished P1. So you never know,
That was
someone could.
a great drive, yeah, from Caesar.
That was a really good drive indeed. He took advantage of the safety car earlier on the race and ensured that he got track position because of it, and which ultimately resulted him into a race win number 3 on the trot for him.
So we have, so people are going out on inters. It's not raining like really bad. It's not very wet weather conditions. It's inters.
Yeah, it is intermediate conditions, and Vicky is one of the first drivers on the track right now, so he will be the first driver to put a time lap. And Shah, what we usually see people do in these conditions is they put more fuel on board and they
Right.
go for consecutive runs, just to get used to the conditions, and also as you get more confident under these conditions, the more confidence you have in your car, the better lap times you are able to put in. So we will not be seeing a lot of in laps and out laps. We will see consecutive laps from these drivers. As Vicky has a beautiful helmet, Shah, if you've noticed, that's a Indian tricolor helmet he's using to show solidarity to our COVID warriors as he starts his lap of the session. That's the first hot lap we will see in the McLaren.
Getting these inters to the right temperature is quite tricky, and that is why I believe people do 2-3 laps on them, and then it gets to the right temperature, and it makes sense to do a lap on them. And also these tires don't wear off as much as the other soft compounds wear off, so so the drivers can do quite a few laps on these. So I think Vicky backed out because he got slowed by, I think, Rohit 16 Goyal in the Haas.
Yeah, he did. His lap time was impeded, so he has backed out of his lap. But let's hope he has enough fuel to go on for another run. As I'm following Racing Gupta here in P9, he is in the racing point, and it's a lot of racing in his name, with his team name and all. And he has given some good races in the past. He's a relatively new driver in the league, but you can definitely see that he has the goods to be on the top step of the podium maybe, but definitely podium pace even in this division. As we have a special thank you speech which is being prepared by VFix, because almost everyone in on the grid waited, or in the division waited for him to join the lobby. So he was a driver who was having issues with joining the lobby earlier on, and we had to wait a long time before we could actually get started. So let's hope we get to talk with VFix at the end of the race, and I hope that he is winning the race for the championship sakes, because he's probably the only one who can challenge Caesar right now for race wins. Racing Gupta goes P1 with a 27.1, so good lap from him, but the times will come down, I'm sure, as these drivers get more comfortable with the conditions.
That's a kind gesture from Vivek.
Caesar, as usual, in the pits. I'm following Nishan here through the chicane. Nishan is a Division 2 driver, but very, very fast, and got his first podium. And I'm not sure if that's the only podium, but that his first podium for the league was in Monaco back in season 2. So definitely a fast driver. If you're scoring a podium in Monaco, that tells a lot about the driver. He was my teammate in that season, so I can tell you that he is a very, very quick driver, and he has been consistent in Division 2 as well this season, Shah.
Yes, for sure. He's been competing quite well, and he's also gone a few assist offs, so that he's doing a commendable job with that, because all we know, going assist off is quite difficult, and he's doing a very good job with that.
Nishan does go P8, rather P5 with a 28.4, as VFix has put a lap time of 28.6. So not a lot of drivers matching Racing Gupta's time right now, but I think probably it's a matter of fuel which they have on board, as VFix is around the final corner again, as Racing Gupta goes even faster with a 26.4. Let's see what VFix puts here. He goes, or rather he starts another lap for him. So this lap was 3 tenths slower than his previous ones. Is Ashwin on a lap right now?
Yeah.
He is in the Williams, as his teammate Caesar is on an outlap, so he's finally has exited the pits. Unlike previous races where he usually leaves it until the last moment, Ashwin puts the second purple sector, so this is turning out to be a good lap for him. And let's see how he rounds out the final sector of this beautiful lap. I absolutely love this track, Shah, especially the second sector, and I can only imagine how good it must feel on a wheel because of those flowing sections and those S corners.
Right.
But here comes Ashwin into P2 now, and look at the gap, Shah. It is 1/1000th of a second between him and Racing Gupta. So definitely a lot of time to find for both these drivers, I'm sure, as they get comfortable with these intermediate conditions and put more and more laps in. But Arjun S. Ravi in P4, and let's follow Caesar now, who has probably started his lap but is backed out. As by Vivkur, I'm not sure if that's the correct pronunciation of your name, says hi, hello, how are you doing?
I think
Yep.
I just saw Arjun S. Ravi glitch, so I'm quite worried now. Is the lobby working fine?
It says
we
he's in the
already
pits.
have a retirement. Rohit 16 Goyal retired.
Rohit has retired, and I'm not sure where that is, but it says Arjun is in the pits, but I'm
And
not
I
able
could see him
to.
on the Arjun S. Ravi.
Yeah, I can see Arjun S. Ravi is in the pits, but I'm not able to. Yeah, I can see him now. Okay, I sincerely hope that we don't have another glitch this time around. And who else right now? Is Tanishq on lap? Tanishq is on the track. Not sure if this is a cooldown lap or is he actually pushing. We'll get to know
So,
when he enters, or rather finishes the
so
first sector split. Yeah, shall go on.
no, I thought Racing Gupta was on a lap, but he's not.
Right, so Tanish seems to be on a lap. He is 3 tenths down rather on the first sector. So not sure if he's going to come in, but Caesar has come back into the pits now. So it was an outlap from Caesar and then is coming back into the pits. So not sure what's going on there. As Vicky seems to be definitely on a lap right now and he's behind Racing Gupta here. And if I'm not wrong, Shah,
Yeah.
is it just me or has the rain gotten a little bit heavier, just a tad bit heavier since we started this session?
There's some spots on our screen that we can see. We don't feel as much as what drivers are feeling on the track, but like you said, I think the rain is increased. Let's see if people go out on wets, we'll get a proper idea if that's true.
I think it's still too early to
Only
think
for
about
wets, yeah.
full wet tires, but here is Quick Killer approaching the final corner. Is he improving? I don't think he did. He stays P7 right now, and with Arjun S. Ravi now on the start finish straight, but the timings are absolutely glitched. I really hope this doesn't be become a repeat of what we saw last time around.
Right.
But Abjan with a surprise lap, as does Serial Killer and Phantom. So a lot of people in the 27s already. And
So, what I can see is it's a fun track. We know it's a short track and it's also raining. So, the drivers have to maneuver through a lot of traffic. So, that's really interesting because it's raining. You're already, playing with the throttle. You don't want to throttle enough, control everything. And there are a lot of cars on track who wants to put time and like you mentioned earlier, that people are not gonna pit every time they finish a hot lap. They just keep going for another lap after another lap. So there's a lot of traffic, you can see, like there are cars everywhere, the yellow flags throughout the track. So I just hope people don't get blocked and we could see some good quality times.
absolutely, you can see only 4 cars in the pits right now. So that gives an idea that everyone wants a bit of a track time here so that they can put a good lap in. I'm on board with Nishan right now in the McLaren, and Nishan is up by almost 1/10 in the first sector. So let's see how the rest of the lap goes as Racing Gupta is back in the pits again, and I'm waiting for Caesar to actually start his lap because he's on an out lap right now. So we'll stay on board with Nishan right now, and that
His
looked
teammate
really
is starting
smooth.
a lap, Ashwin.
Ashwin is indeed starting a lap in that Williams, so we will stay on board with Nishan for now and complete this lap before we turn our attention to Ashwin, who will approach turn 1 in a few seconds. So here's Nishan through the penultimate corner now with just one corner to go. This has looked quite a decent lap, and it seemed like he was in good control of his car as he rounds the final corner now. He's P12 right now. Let's see if it's an improvement. It is, and he goes P7. Let's ride on board with Ashwin now, another fast driver in the division and one of the few drivers, as there's a 5-second grid penalty for Abjan for colliding with Arjun S. Ravi, as Ashwin has gone 2 seconds slower in the first sector, if I believe the timing on the screen is right. So not really happening for Ashwin right now. Is Caesar on a lap? I believe he
Oh, Vicky got
is.
another 5 second time penalty for Manu. So when we just talking about how much traffic is there on track, and we didn't want to see that. Drivers are colliding with each other and getting themselves five place grid penalties.
Absolutely. So it is important on this track, especially because, as you said, there are not a lot of different lines you can take through corners. So if you're not on an hot lap, you would want to move out of the way. But that's the thing, Shah. It's in terms conditions. Almost everyone is on time laps right now, so that would be a little tricky for us to see that who's on a hot lap, who's not. But one thing I know for sure, Caesar is definitely on a very fast lap, and he's now approaching the final corner. and this could be Pole Shah because I saw him go purple in sector 2. Let's see what lap time he puts in. He goes
And
pole
that's a point.
with a 26.1, so that's a 3 tenths straight up advantage at the top. So saving the best for the last, although we still have some time to go. But that is Caesar on pole, and his competitor Shah are not looking in the best of form here tonight.
Yeah, we know Vifix has been trying to challenge him since the beginning of the season. Vifix in P14.
If it isn't P14 and he is in the pits, so not sure what he's waiting for or if he has other commitments. But I'm following Ashwin right now, who's on a lap and was down by about 8 or 7 hundredths of a second, but he still has a lot of time to gain in sector 2. So let's see how this lap turns out. As Racing Gupta is on a lap as well, but Ashwin's lap will be completed before his. So we'll stay on board with Ashwin and let's see. He's That's a purple sector from Ashwin in the second sector, so he's up by 4 tenths, and if he's able to keep this advantage shot, this could be a lap which challenges VFX or rather Caesar at the top.
He's just taking the last corner. Let's see what time Ashwin puts. And that's a really good lap from him. A 125.8.
That is a great lap from Ashwin. It's a 125.8 as we're following Racing Gupta now, who is just 2 corners away from completing his lap, and that is the pace which we were hoping to see from Ashwin as the Williams boys fight it out at the top. It's a Williams front row lockout right now. Let's see if Racing Gupta in the racing point can make any changes to that as he approaches the final corner. Now he stays behind, but he has improved his time shot and he is just less than a tenth behind Caesar right now. So very impressive time from him as VFX is still in the pits, as is Sid Venkatesh, who is on an outlap right now.
But it
So
was Caesar's first lap, and he was on pole, so I'm expecting Caesar is gonna go way more quicker than his first lap.
yeah, he will definitely be going quicker, but I can tell you right now his lap has been invalidated, so he doesn't have a lot of runs left before he can put another time lap in. So this one he has to back off because his lap time has invalidated. And let's see what serial killer is up to. His lap time will not count. What Arjun is up to. Arjun is on a lap. Yeah,
I
shall go
wanna
on.
know what Vifix is up to.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really
Vifix,
strange.
yeah.
He's on an outlap right now, so let's hope that he's able to put a lap in. As I'm following Arjun Arun Shah right now in the Renault, and he was down by a tenth in the first sector, but second sector seems to be the sector where a lot of drivers are gaining time, but he has not gained time this time around. Let's follow Tanish now. He is up Shah by 3 tenths, so this could be a real improvement from Tanish, who is also the lobby host for tonight because of connection issues for some drivers, and he is now 2 corners away, and this could be a good lap and will definitely put him in the 27s as Ashwin is into the pits. That's a little strange to see. So Ashwin is into the pits and we are watching Tanishq, who is going to round off the final corner as he
Caesar's
just
on a
loses the car, and sorry Shah as he goes
Caesar's on
P14.
a really good lap.
Caesar is in fact on a good lap. He is up by one, almost 2 tenths there in the first sector, and this could very well be curtains for that pole position fight because Ashwin still has time, but I don't think he has enough time. I think he is done for the session. I don't think he has enough time to come back out again. And here is Caesar now. He's just about keeping it within track limits and is up by 4 tenths. That is ridiculously quick from him in these conditions. So it seems like if he's able to keep it clean in the next 2 corners, he will have that pole position secured as Utkarsh Shah has just popped up in P6 right now. Serial Killer goes P4. So plenty of surprises here in these changeable conditions as through the final
Oh,
corner goes
Caesar.
Caesar. It's a 25.5, which is 3 tenths faster than Ashwin, who's on an outlap right now, but I don't think he has enough time. We'll have to see that. Yes, you're saying something, Shah?
So is Racing Point, Racing Gupta on his too many racing on his outlap.
But I
I
definitely
am
don't think
really,
he will have time to.
I would want to follow Vifix's lap.
Yeah, let's do that
What
in
is
fact because
V6
he
up to?
is on an he's on a lap right now and he will have time to go for another one. So if he has enough fuel, but let's see how this lap turns out to be for VFix as he now is through the final corner and has spent a lot of time in the pits, I must say, this session. But as he goes through the start finish straight, he goes P13, so not the best of lap for him, but he still has one more run he can do. But following Ashwin now, he has started his lap, so he has just about got there in time, and
I think
this
Caesar's
would be.
going for another lap.
I'm sure he is. Caesar is on another lap, and he's up by 5 hundredths of a second, so that's half a tenth. So he is not backing down. Is Caesar, and this could be another improvement on the 25.5 we see already from Caesar. Let's see what this lap time is. So 25.4. It's just about not an improvement. It was slower by just 3 tenths, or rather 3 thousandths of a second, as Ashwin is up by half a tenth, and he is now approaching the chicane in the second sector.
This has been a quite interesting qualifier, I should say, because the drivers have been putting laps after laps, and it's also difficult for us to follow what's been happening. Oh, Ashwin backed out.
He has backed out because he has invalidated his lap. So that is Ashwin's qualifying done, and I think that is Caesar definitely on pole with Phantom has jumped into P5, and that has relegated the likes of Arjun Arun Shah and Utkarsh and Abjan further down the order. But surprise of the session, Shah, is
Vifix
VFix
is into the pits.
in P15, and he is going to start a long way behind from his championship contenders, the Williams boys, who have the front row locked out. I think that is probably it as far as. Right, we have Discreet. I think that's his debut in Indian Racing League. He's the last person who will put a time lap in, and he
Oh,
stays P18 right
Tanishq spun
now.
on track. Yeah.
Where is Tanishq? He is P17. Yeah, he has spun on track. That's was he trying to go back into the pits but could not turn his car. I'm not sure his DRS is enabled.
Wow.
That's a little too
So,
late.
so track was drying up. So maybe that was the reason Vifix was in the pits, maybe waiting for the track to dry up. But eventually, when it didn't dry up, and then he came out to put in his lap, could be that.
Yeah, it could very well be that. Was he hoping to put a lap time on the soft tires and stay in the pits nice and dry before it dries up enough for softs? As I think there's a change again. Is that Arjun S. Ravi who has put a lap time in? I think it is, and he has gone P4. So Arjun S. Ravi, who secured a podium in Monza, he finished P2 ahead of VFX and behind Caesar. So good lap time from Arjun, and I think that is the final grid positions for the race upcoming, Shah.
So a Williams 1-2. This is what we've been waiting for since a very long time. We want to see Caesar and Ashwin battle it out. These are the two champions on the grid right now since the beginning of IRL. So it'll be fun to watch. And then we got Racing Gupta, who we knew had a lot of speed, is starting P3. And we know Arjun S. Ravi is also a driver who's got potential to get onto the podium. So there's a competition in the mix. So I believe it's going to be a fun race. So I don't know what the weather's like. Is it still going to rain in the race, or are we going to have a dry race? So that'll be exciting to watch.
It is really exciting, as you said. The only two Indian Racing League champions are starting on the front row, the Williams boys, and if history is anything to go by, these guys do battle it out when they're on the same piece of the track. So let's hope for a good race up front with another two fast drivers in Racing Gupta and Arjun Ravi, who are probably hoping in their seats that something happens, at the top and on the turn one, and one of them can take advantage, or rather both of them can take advantage of that. But either ways, I think that's qualifying done. I think the lobby has glitched and then corrected itself with Abjan and Vicky getting those 5 race penalties. But that's a confirmation. Caesar on pole, so it's Williams front row lockout. I don't know when was the last time we had a lockout in terms of constructors getting front rows. Probably in season 2, where Caesar and VFix had partnered up in the Alpha Tauri rather. Racing Gupta and Arjun S. Ravi in P3 and P4. The third on the grid is Serial Killer and Phantom with Arjun Arun Shah and Abjan in P7 and P8. Or rather, Abjan has a 5 place penalty, so Utkarsh will start P8. Behind them is Hash, Quick Killer, and Nishan from Division 2. Kill Bill Pandey, also known as Shashank earlier, he has changed his PSN name in P13.
Oh, I
Vicky
didn't
will
know
start
that.
at the back of the grid. And Vifix will start. Probably will
P4.
start P14, I believe. So Vifix will start a lot further back than he would have liked to, with Sid Venkatesh alongside him. These are previous teammates in season 3, with Tanish B. Kiran, the lobby host, in P17, Discreet in P18. P19 goes to Manan and Rohit Goel, who probably is making his debut, if I'm not wrong, in the F1 division tonight. Does not put a lap time in, and he will be starting from the back of the grid. Right. Let me just quickly check Discord because there's something wrong with the lobby. So let's wait until we figure that out, as Vicky on the chat says that he was blocked twice. I'm assuming on his hot lap. Yeah, now the lobby is fine. So
Yeah.
thank Codemasters for that.
But also at this point, I think Vifik should just be happy that he's getting to race because
Oh,
at the
absolutely.
start of the session, we were all worried will Vifix be able to race. So it's at least better to start P14 than not to race. He
Yeah, it's
should be
better to
quite
start
happy with that.
P14 than not start at all. And something terrible which I've done is I've not shared the link to the race so far in the Discord. So let me just quickly do that before I get any hate comments. Indian Racing League.
Nobody hates you, Malav. Nobody hates you.
Right, let me just quickly do that as we wait for the drivers to make their final preparations for the formation lap, and that's
So amongst all the Shahs, I think you're the best commentator.
honestly there is not much to choose from, but I would not go so far. Either ways, it's been fun commentating in the past few weeks, and it is sunny, so it seems like we are going to have a completely dry race, at least for the first half
Yeah.
of it.
The drivers are gonna enjoy so much grip. It's just so much. So once you start, once you drive in the rains and then you get to the dry session, it's just so much fun. You start loving how to drive and taking the corners and all of that. So it's gonna be fun for us to watch and also for the drivers to race.
It is fun, I'm sure, but as a driver, I don't quite like it. I would rather prefer a session going from a dry to a wet session rather than from wet to a dry. The only reason being, after it becomes dry, I am still so much more cautious on the throttle that I am actually slow, and I think I'll spin, so I am very very slow with my throttle input. So it makes me slower, I believe, if I'm going from a wet session to a dry session. But either
These
ways,
are
that's the reason why I'm a commentator and not a racing
yeah,
driver in
these are
this league.
D1 drivers. Yeah,
These are
India's
D1 drivers, so either ways,
fastest
let's
drivers on
see.
console. Yeah.
Let's see what
Let's see
kind
the
of
tire
tires.
strategies. Yeah.
And as usual, no one on softs. We have people on hards, which is Racing Gupta, VFix, and Vicky on hards. So nice to see a full grid shot. I think that's the first time that's happening in Division 1.
Yeah. We have Racing Gupta on hards.
Yeah, Racing Gupta is on
From the
hards.
pubs.
So Arjun S. Ravi and Serial Killer will be licking their lips because they would want to get track position. And this is a track where, as we've discussed multiple times already, overtaking is fun, or rather, overtaking is tough. So it is fun, but it's tough. So it should be interesting to see how people get those starts sorted out. And VFX in P14 will also have a
On
tough time getting
those
through the
hards.
field. And if I don't know, what's the lobby glitch, Shah, when the race start happened in Division 2, because there was a bit of a carnage at turn 1 yesterday.
So the lobby was glitched because it took time for so we completed our formation lap and then we were on the grid just standing for quite some time, I think 30-40 seconds, and you know how sensitive the car is once the tires get cold. A lot of people are starting on those hards, so I think their tires weren't at their right conditions, like how you want them for your race starts, and they had like slow starts, and when they aren't at the right temperatures, you can't brake properly. They don't stop where you want them to stop. So there was carnage on turn one. So I believe the lobby doesn't glitch here, and we see a clean turn one and some good racing from these drivers.
Yeah, let's hope so, as they're making their way to their grid positions. And it seems like a good formation lap with no disqualifications, Shah. So no contact on the formation lap. Let's hope that there is no contact on lap 1 as well, and we're able to get racing on this track on this bright sunny afternoon in Hungary. So looking forward to this one. And in terms of strategy, should be a simple one stop, barring any safety cars. But knowing this game and knowing the competitiveness of these drivers, I'm sure there will be at least a VSC, if not a full-blown safety car. Either ways, we are set on the grid, and we should be
Okay, we've
underway
loaded.
pretty soon. Do I see the lights right now? I don't
Oh
see
no,
them.
the names are getting glitched again. I see discrete P1. So
The
we know
names are
this guy
indeed
isn't.
getting glitched, but it could be a while before we get the lights. I'm still hopeful that Codemasters don't force us to make a new lobby. Let's hope.
So
Yeah, that's the
yeah, oh
light.
yeah, we
Those
have
are the
lights.
lights on the screen. As 5 lights on the grid, lights out, and away we go for the Hungarian race. And it's a good start from Ashwin initially, but Caesar has covered him off. But behind, there's a lot of cars who are challenging Racing Gupta, who's on the hard tires for that P3 position. But there's carnage at the back, and there's an Alfa Romeo, or rather Alfa Tauri, who has gone into the distance. I'm not sure who that was, but behind, rather up front, it is Phantom, who has lost a lot of positions in that Red Bull and is not carrying wing damage so far. But up front, Nishan, is he really in P3? No, he's not.
I would like to interrupt. Are the cars being ghosted on your screen, or is all right for you?
The cars are ghosted on my screenshot, so there
Yeah.
are yellow flags in sector 1, but I don't see any cars there. But I think it is fine now, as Arjun S. Ravi is on the back of Racing Gupta. So while there are still yellow flags flashing, but I don't see any issues there. As I think that's, is that Vicky? It's not Vicky. There was someone who had lost. It seemed like a McLaren and a Haas are at the back of the grid. But look at the gap Williams boys has, as Arjun Arun Shah and Utkarsh and Arjun S. Ravi are fighting, and I think Utkarsh is through. So Arjun S. Ravi has lost 2 positions there to Arjun and Utkarsh. And if we ride on board with Arjun right now, has Caesar lost a position there? No, he's not. That's just the timing
No big glitch. Yeah.
glitched. I was excited for a while, hoping for something to happen, but we are status quo as of now, as I again see a lot of glitch timing. So Shah, strap yourself in, because this is going to be a very, very weird race in terms of commentating, because we will never get to know who's actually leading the race.
So
So
as commentators, we find it difficult, but also as drivers, when I was driving yesterday, it was so glitched. The timings kept changing. I didn't know my real position where I was. So
yeah.
also for the drivers, it's going to be very tricky. So I think it's sorted now. I see Caesar P1, Ashwin P2.
No, it's not sorted right now. As Arjun S. Ravi is in P6 right now, but the timing screen or the leaderboard
Okay.
shows him in P19. So not sorted right now. It shows Serial Killer in the pits, but he's out on those hard tires, and this is really unfortunate. I see the top 5 fine, and I think now is the time where it has come. Now that something happened to Hash here, and Hash has lost it. Where has he lost it? That's the exit of the third last corner there in sector 3, and he is now almost at the back of the grid. As up front, I don't think there is any battles going on per se. It's Utkarsh who's tagged by Arjun there.
I see Kill Bill Pandey and Nishan doing some battle.
Kilbil Pandey is indeed battling Nishan, who is
The
now battling
McLarens versus
his
yeah.
Vicky, and that's Vicky who is now through. So Nishan probably not wanting to get involved with a lot of incidents, being not a full-time driver in the decision, as there are still more yellow flags. But look at the gap which Williams has on the cars behind. As where is Arjun Ravi actually? Is he? Oh my god, this is going to be an absolute nightmare. He's in P6 right now. And Shah, if you can just take over commentating duties for a while, I will just have a look at Discord if people are saying anything, because this is going to be a bit of a nightmare here.
So who are we on?
So we are
Who
on
are we
Tanishq,
following? Alright.
and well, Tanishq seems to be running P7 right now, but he's shown P6 because Arjun Ravi is shown as P18. So I'm following the battle between Utkarsh, Arjun Ravi, and Tanishq right now, with Phantom close behind.
Right. So DRS is available right now. I think Arjun S. Ravi is ghosted on my screen. That's a bit weird.
He's definitely ghosted on my screen as well, as VFix has made his way to P9, and he is now trying to catch Abjan, who is on the medium tire. So Racing Gupta still the lead runner on those medium tires, as Vicky gets a 3-second penalty. That's the first
On
of the time
those
penalties we
hards, I
get.
would like to correct you, Mala. Racing Gupta on the hards.
Racing Gupta on the hards, yeah, he is the lead driver on those hard tires, and he is all the while losing time to the Williams boys, but then that is fine as far as he is concerned, because he has a sizable gap to Arjun behind him. And now I think it's Utkarsh who is probably hoping that he can get a little bit closer to Arjun, because he will have DRS next time they are on the start finish straight, and it is quite possible that he might be making a move on Arjun. So let's see. That's DRS wing flaps open. Is he close enough right now? I don't think he is, but look at the DRS management for Utkarsh. He is, it's almost 0% there. It's, or rather less than 10% for sure. So not something we are used to seeing from drivers, but he is putting all his hopes that he's able to catch Arjun and then catch Racing Gupta, because a podium could be on cards for either of these three drivers, Shah, who is running P3, P4 and P5 right now.
So as talking about penalties, I think there's only one driver with a penalty right now, that is Vicky. And like we know, this is a track where getting penalties is really easy.
Oh, that's Arjun Arun Shah. I'm sorry, Shah. That's Arjun Arun Shah, who has lost his car somewhere in sector 2, and I'm not sure if that's wing damage. I'm sorry for interrupting, but he has lost
There is
a
a wing
heap of
damage.
collision, and there is definite wing damage there. So he will have to pit. That promotes Utkarsh into P4. And yeah, go on, Shah. You were saying something.
So yeah, that's what drivers need to keep it clean and not get any penalties, because the drivers are really close to each other, and then if they get a 3 seconds or say another 3 seconds, 6 seconds, then they would lose a lot of positions at the end.
They would indeed lose a lot of positions, as Jin has put up a comment that ghosting is off. That is, oh Arjun, that's really unfortunate. He gets a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane, so that has made matters worse for him. And VFix now is stuck behind Abjan, and he could be for quite a few laps, because Abjan is a fast driver, as we all know, and he's on those mediums. So while he's using a lot of his battery, but he should be able to keep ahead, because he's within DRS of Phantom up ahead. But yeah, VFix is saying that the ghosting is off. I'm not sure that's how we run the league here, right? We keep the ghosting on, especially for lapped cars. So
It was another driver who created the lobby today. Maybe
oh right,
he
it could
missed it
be.
out. Yeah.
So yeah, it could very well be the case. But Jin, if you're hearing this, can you let me know, or can you let us know if is I hope VFix is actually behind Abjan, because we don't trust this lobby anymore. So if you can let us know what the situation is, it could be fun. As where is Utkarsh right now? Utkarsh is
He's
behind
just been
Racing
pulling
Gupta.
out time from his teammate.
Absolutely, I think that
He's already 3.3 seconds ahead.
is already 3.3 seconds ahead, and Ashwin not really challenging him right now. Is he saving his tires, or that's just the lack of the practice which is showing? As behind, it's Nishan who is still behind Kill Bill Pandey. It will be tough for me to say this name because I've always known him and called him as Shashank. But either ways, Nishan is behind the Alpha Tauri, and Nishan hoping to get ahead of an Alpha Tauri. That is a little ironic since he races with this team in Division 2. Either ways, he has been behind for at least 3-4 laps now, and it's not really able to make an overtake work.
So I believe Arjun S. Ravi is still P4.
Arjun S.
Oh
Ravi
no, he's P5. He's behind Utkarsh.
he is behind Utkarsh, and he's actually in a Mercedes sandwich right now. Arjun S.
Right.
Ravi, he has Utkarsh in front of him, and he has Tanishq at the back of him. So and there's a harsh driver somewhere overtaking. I think that's Discreet, who has overtaken Serial Killer, if I'm not wrong.
I think
No.
Nishan should be able to make a move this time around. He is closing quite a bit to him with the second DRS.
Nishan has the outside line, but I don't think he'll be able to get through this time. As Shashank is not an easy customer, as VFix now is within 2 tenths of Abjan, and for as Abjan gets a 3 second penalty defending from VFix, but this is really hurting VFX's race. Look at the gap he has to the front pack, and if he has any chances at this rate, Shah, if there's no safety car or surprises, he could not finish on the podium this time around because there's Racing Gupta and Utkarsh and Tanishq and Arjun S. Ravi, of course, whom we don't see on the timing screen in that fight, could very well be on the podium rather than VFX. And I'm assuming the two Williams boys will take the podium this time around.
Even if there's a safety car, I think Vifix doesn't stand a chance if he pits and then tries to pull out his mediums.
So
So
if there's a safety car right now, Shah, what would you do if you were VFX? Would you stay out and then hope to go long and probably go on a set of, I don't know, soft
that
tires maybe? Or what would your plan be?
so that was the dilemma I had when I was racing yesterday when I was planning my strategy. So what should I do? I always thought because starting on mediums made complete sense if there's a safety car say on lap 10 or lap 11 where you plan to pit and then you can pull out your hearts for another 25 laps. But if there's a safety car right now say on lap 9 or 10 and if Fix plans to pit, pulling out a second stint on those mediums for 25 laps is really difficult, and we've seen drivers getting punctures in earlier races. So I don't think Vifix will want to risk that. If I was in a situation, maybe I would go for the track position. I wouldn't pit and then maybe hope for another safety car. Or if Vifix gets ahead of the pack, maybe just keep his head down, keep driving, put in good lap times, and create some gap and pit for maybe softs later, and then try to make some overtaking moves.
Speaking of overtaking moves, here is Nishan, who almost overtook Kill Bill Pandey last time around in turn 3 but could not make it work. Let's see if this time he's able to execute a switchback move. He has the TRS, and these guys now approaching turn 3. He will have the outside with Nishan, and this time he is through. So that is a welcome move as far as the McLaren is concerned, and
Oh,
he is now as this
Arjun actually went
Arjun.
off track.
What happened to Arjun there? I just saw him as he was just ahead of these guys, but has he lost his wing there? Yeah, he has lost his end plate, and that is really unfortunate because he was one of those people whom we were thinking that he could be in a fight for a podium here, but nevertheless Nishan is through,
P13 right now.
and he is P13. You are right, he is P13 behind Sid Venkatesh. And just check for Misha if you can. Is Rohit Goel actually disconnected from the session here? It looks like he is.
Yeah. Rohit Goel is disconnected.
Right, so a lot of
He's
issues this
posted,
time
yeah.
around. At this rate, I was hoping that those will be resolved, but Sid Venkatesh gets a penalty. So quite a few drivers now getting penalties. Let me have a look at that as well.
As we keep talking, Caesar has pulled out 5 seconds from his teammate.
It's
Caesar's just
absolutely
been pulling
crazy.
out time. Yeah,
He has been pulling out a lot of gap as VFix seems to have finally overtaken Abjan
Abjan.
here, but Abjan is still fighting back, but this will be VFix's position to lose, and he is through now. And the gap he has to Phantom now, we don't have it in front of us because Phantom is shown as one lap down. So thank you Codemasters for that. But you can see the Red
But
Bull
I
in
think V6
distance.
can, yeah, yeah.
We can definitely see the Red Bull in distance, so it should not be more than a couple of seconds. That's what it seems like, but I could be wrong here. But Phantom, who's on the back of Tanish Bikaran, so Tanish seems to have lost some pace here after maybe Arjun dropped out. Did he have an incident with Arjun? I don't think so because his front wing seems intact, but he has lost touch with his teammate. So Phantom, while he will be chased by VFix in the next few laps, it seems like he will put on the charge on
So
Tanishq
Arjun
here.
S. Ravi's front wing is intact. He hasn't gone to the pits. So that's a good thing that
Right,
he
so I'm
doesn't have to
assuming he's
pit and
still
fall
running
back
in
in.
P13 then.
Yeah.
Right, so good for him. He has lost quite a few positions. That's 5, so that's 8 positions he has lost, but at least his fronting is intact and he can still continue with his strategy. Whether he's able to claw back those positions, that remains to be seen. Riding on board with Phantom right now,
Yeah. There's been
and
a move growing up since a few laps. So
a
I
few
think this
laps on
time
your right.
around, yeah.
But it was Sid Venkatesh who was trying to make a move on Kill Bill Pandey. Sorry for cutting you off there, Shah, but he almost got through. But it's proving really difficult right now, isn't it? That's the nature of the track and that's the defending prowess of the Alpha Tauri, but it is difficult to overtake, and Shashank or Kilbil Pandey is proving just that, as Nishan took a lot of laps behind him and Vifix took a lot of laps before he would finally get through.
Racing Gupta, did he make a mistake or something? Because the last time I checked, he was 3 seconds behind Ashwin, and now it says 10 seconds.
It says 4 seconds for me, so I'm not
Yeah,
entirely
so the lobby
sure.
is.
So that's something to do with the lobby, as Vicky now is on the back of Abjan, and they are now around the final corner as Vicky has good enough DRS left, so he's completely draining his battery, but I hope that for his sake he's able to make the move stick, as round the outside goes Vicky. He's not being enough space there, but he will have the inside for the next corner in turn 3, and I think this time around he should be having that position on Abjan. So Abjan losing a few positions again on those medium tires. So this is the point, Shah, I think, where the hard tires will be slightly faster than those medium tires.
Yeah, I would agree. And I think the drivers do another lap on these mediums and then probably think to switch to those hards.
Yeah, it could be possible because hard tires are really durable here, and if you are able to get a good track position because of an undercut, it could help
Yep.
you in the race, or one or two more laps on the hard tires wouldn't really matter here. But I'm following Sid Venkatesh, who is kind of stuck behind Kill Bill Pandey for a while now. As you can see, Nishan is now 1.2 seconds ahead of the Alpha Tauri driver, but it seems like it's Arjun S. Ravi. That is unfortunate. So he has got a 5-second penalty as well. So both the Arjuns getting 5-second penalties for speeding into the pit lane. I'm following VFix right now, who has caught up to the back of Phantom, and the gap
But
up front. Shah. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
there's also one thing. I think there are only two drivers who've gone to the pits yet, and both have got the 5 seconds. So I don't know if it's the lobby glitch which is giving them 5 seconds or it's a driver error. So that we'll have to keep an eye on.
We will have to keep an eye on that for sure. But I don't think we'll have to wait that long, Shah, because this is pit stop time, and VFix has joined the party where he will be. Oh, was that
Oh, there's
that's a
Mana
Renault. Yeah, that is
3006.
Manan who's round. We were just trying to ride on board with VFix here, and Phantom has really caught up to Tanishq, and Phantom has also lost some time maybe behind Tanishq because VFix has caught up to the pair of them, and this is a battle which VFix does not want to get involved in. He wants, probably he's hoping that both of these guys pit so he can run in free air, put those lap times in, as the gap ahead Shah is now nearing 7 seconds at the top.
Yeah. So they aren't pitting. I think this is help Phantom maybe because he's gonna get DRS from Tanish. So that
He
way he
will get
doesn't
DRS off
lose a
Tanishq, but I
position
wonder
to.
if and either of them are thinking of an undercut. Definitely not VFix because he's on a separate or rather different strategy. But is
Yeah.
Phantom thinking of an undercut here because he seems to be faster than Tanishq right now, and if he pits one lap earlier and tries to take himself out of this battle for now, let Tanishq defend from VFix and focus on that rather than gaining lap time, he can come out probably in clean air. I'm not sure where he will come out, Phantom, probably somewhere around P12 P13, and then hope that he is able to get Tanishq in the pit stops. Either ways, we are still on board with VFix right now as Phantom locks up a little bit going into that chicane, and Tanishq is doing a good job right now, and all the while he's helping his teammate Utkarsh because Utkarsh in the second Mercedes is running P4, so both the Mercedes running really nicely right now, and Utkarsh has not really caught up to Racing Gupta as he would have liked. But Racing Gupta, as you said, Shah, has now
Is
the
on
gap
this.
as Ashwin is in the pits. So Ashwin has pulled the trigger, not really undercut because the gap is too much. But Ashwin is into the pits, and does Phantom come into the pits this time around? No, he does not. He still stays out.
So
So Ashwin,
if you were on Phantom's position, would you have gone to the pits right
I
now?
would
Because
definitely
you're
have
just
Shah.
losing.
I
Yeah,
would
because you
definitely
just keep
have
losing
because
time behind a driver.
yeah, he is losing time behind Tanishq right now, and I think this is a good enough time to pit. Those hearts will comfortably go to the end. So I would have pit, and Ashwin now comes out ahead of Sid Venkatesh, so he's in P10, and he would be hoping that the cars in front, which is Abjan and Nishan, pit soon so that he's not held up by them. But Shah, if you notice, Ashwin did not get a 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit
Yeah,
lane.
yeah. I saw
So
that when he went to the pits.
yeah,
So
so it seems like it was probably driver error from
mistake
both
from
the
the
Arjuns.
Arjuns.
As
Yeah.
oh, something we completely missed is Phantom has lost the position to VFix and all that, and now it's VFix who's on the back of Tanish. So this is the lap where I think both Phantom and Tanish will have the same idea, and both of them will win the pit. So Phantom has lost his chance, and further behind it's Kilbil Pandey. It seemed like he lost a position there, but I'm not entirely sure. Either way, he's being caught by his. Is he being caught by his teammate? Yeah, he is caught by his teammate. Either ways, let's follow. Is Phantom into the pits? Phantom is going into the pits, and Tanish stays out for one more lap. And let's follow VFX here because he is now going to make a move on Tanishq, depending on the ERS and DRS usage. As Tanishq is defending on the inside, VFX will have the outside for the corner. He's pushed wide a little bit, and he will have the outside for turn 3. Will the VFX? I'm not sure this will work out, Shah, this time around.
Yeah, I think also Tanish went pit because his teammate was in the pits. So
Right, so something we
Tanish is doing
completely missed
another.
is Utkarsh has actually pitted, so
Yeah.
Tanishq had to stay out for one more lap. So I think, in terms of judgment, both of these drivers could have pit a lap earlier and tried to get good track position. But either ways, they have
I
other plans,
totally agree. Yes.
and we are still on this battle right now with VFX practically pushing Tanishq around the lap, and Viki has joined the party, Shah. So you know what has happened is VFX has lost so
Caesar's
much
doing
time
another lap. Caesar's doing another lap on those
on those old
mediums. Yeah.
medium tires, so it seems like he has other ideas than to pit at a normal socially accepted time. But either ways, that's Tanishq pulling into the pits, which frees VFX, and that was needed because Vicky was catching. So that's how much time VFX has lost behind the likes of Phantom and Tanishq. So let's see where Tanishq now comes out as Ashwin puts a fastest lap of the race, and let's see where he comes out as where's Phantom right now. Is round the final corner now. This is going to be close, Shah, because oh, this is not even going to be close. Phantom has lost a lot of time there, I don't think he will overtake. This is going to be close as Manan is into the mix as well, but I think he's lapped. And Tanish does stay ahead of Phantom. So, and Tanish almost loses it, it seemed like. But, anyways, Tanish does stay ahead of Phantom. And he is now directly behind his teammate, although 7 seconds adrift.
So
Further
that
behind, it's Nishan, Kill Bill Pandey, and Sid Venkatesh, all of whom have gone on a pair of medium tires. And Serial Killer is the only person who is yet to change the tires, and I don't think those hards will go to the end, so he will make a pit stop. Right now, is where is Arjun Ravi in all of this? Where is he? I'll have to check where he is.
he's
right
running.
now.
He's running last.
I mean, that's a timing screen which says he's running last, but I think he
He's
is running
behind the
P17.
AIs. Yeah, he's behind the AIs because Rohit 16 goal is disconnected. On my screen, it shows an enter mark. So is hash 9211.
Yeah, so it seems like it's from the point of view of Ashwin, or rather Arjun. It seems like both of them have disconnected, but Arjun S Ravi seems to be running P17 right now, if my maths is correct, as Abjan has pitted and Caesar has come out. Look at the gap shot between Caesar and VFace. Now, can they somehow battle and finally we get the battle which we are all hoping for? But either ways, it's Caesar Killer into the pits, and up front it's Nishan who is behind Kilpil Pandey and all of that. So after actually overtaking the Alpha Tauri driver, Nishan has found himself behind Kill Bill Pandey here. So we'll have
But
to do all the hard work all over again. Maybe he pitted a lap or two later or earlier, got stuck in traffic somewhere, made a mistake. Not really sure what happened
Vicky's come out ahead of Ashwin. In all of this.
Vicky has come out ahead of Ashwin,
Vicky
but
pulled
that's
out an
because
undercut. Yeah.
no, that's
Oh no,
because
he's pitting again.
yeah,
Oh.
that's because he was yet to
yeah,
pit. So Vicky was yet to pit again. So he will be dropping those positions as we're following on board with Nishan right now, and he is behind Kill Bill Pandey, and Kill Bill Pandey will have DRS from the cars up front. So this is again going to be a really frustrating phase of the race for Nishan. Right
So
up front,
I
the
think
gap at the front is decreasing. So Caesar is catching Racing Gupta, who is yet to pit. We should see him into the pits in the next lap or two, and I'm not sure how much time loss there is for the pit stop, but he has to be careful here. I think Racing Gupta will lose the position to Utkarsh right now. So Utkarsh has triggered that undercut, and there's a very good chance Utkarsh can finish on the podium here because Racing Gupta has stayed out for quite a while, and even if he will be on those faster medium tires at the end, he will have to make a lot of he will have to work real hard if he wants to catch Utkarsh. Has Nishan disconnected, Shah? Can you check, because he's saying there's a power cut at his place, so I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, he's ghosted. Nishan is ghosted.
Oh, he's ghosted. That's a real shame that he's ghosted, and we're getting a couple of comments from him. But up front, Racing Gupta is still out in front. I think this is not something which will help his race later on. He will come out behind Utkarsh for sure. Is he thinking on going on softs at the end of the race? That's probably the only explanation I have right now, if he is actually staying out for this long, or maybe hoping for a safety car, which looks a little unlikely right now. I mean, there are battles around the track, but given how glitched the lobby is, even if there's a huge crash, we might not see a safety car. Riding on board right now with Vicky, and he is now behind Phantom and Tanish. So Vicky is now the new VFix because he is having a first row seat to this battle, which has gone on for the almost the entire race, as Phantom is a little bit loose coming out of that corner and almost gave the place to Vicky in the McLaren. But as Racing Gupta finally does pit, Let's see what tires he goes on. He goes on a set of mediums, and he will come out behind Utkarsh for sure. But by how much, that remains to be seen, and if he's able to catch up to that gap. Here is Vicky, who goes on a move. Is he going to make a double overtake here? As Vicky is down the inside of Phantom, he definitely makes one move, not two. But that battling has cost Phantom a position here. And now Vicky will be on the back of Tanishq in no time. Racing Gupta comes out just 1.6 seconds behind Utkarsh on a set of those medium tires, which will give him the tire advantage until the end of the race for sure. But whether he's actually able to overtake around this track, that remains to be seen, and we still have 13 laps of racing left.
So Racing Gupta finally pits, yeah.
Yeah, he does pit, and he is out on those medium tires. Probably a lap or two later than I would have liked him to, because him and Utkarsh really have a chance at podium right now, and none of them have penalties, so this is likely to be settled on track rather than via penalties. As I'm still following Vicky here, who's trying to make a move past Tanishq, and the tire difference is really, you can see it right now as VFix is now into the pits. I think he's going on a set of mediums. Yes, he is, and VFix will probably come out in P5 right now. So he has made up a lot of time, and there goes Vicky. He has made a move indeed. He has made a move on Tanishq, and Phantom will not be able to follow through. But that's VFix. Is that VFix getting into the mix of it? I think it is. That's VFix who has just filtered out behind Vicky. He would not have liked that at all, as Utkarsh gets a 3-second penalty. That's a real shame. He's being caught by Racing Gupta here, but it's Vicky now ahead of VFX, and VFX would have wanted to come ahead of this battle, Shah.
Yep. So I think this should make Racing Gupta happy that his P3 is sealed if he doesn't get a penalty. Also, I think on track he'll be able to make an easy overtake because Utkarsh is on the harder compounds, and Vicky is on a much softer compounds. So I think around just when he finishes this corner on this straight, we should see a move coming up.
Oh, definitely, and he has to make this move stick, Shah, because he knows that behind them, Vicky and VFX are also on a charge, so he would want to put some distance between these guys and himself. And Racing Gupta is into the podium positions now, so good race for him. As here is VFX now making a move on Vicky, so that's VFX into P5, and I would not a lot of laps left for VFX to make any real inroads, but that 10-second gap which he has to Utkarsh. Oh, Utkarsh is DNF. What happened there?
Oh,
Utkarsh has lost it. That is the exit of turn 4.
Oh, there's a virtual safety car.
There's a virtual safety car, and that is his. Oh, that is a real shame, as that is Utkarsh's car, which has lost it at the exit of turn 4. That's a VSC. He was running so well, but that is something which was really unfortunate, and VFX would have hoped it was a full core safety car, and that was real grounds to it. That's what I was saying, that it's a little glitch this lobby, which is why we don't have, but you can see a lot of cars going through where exactly he crashed. This could very well been a safety car, and that could have helped out VFX get close to the front 3 and actually start making his moves. But either ways, we have a VSC, and Manan gets a drive through for speeding under the VSC, so not the best of the races for the Renault boys, as Arjun Arun Shah also had some damage, had to pit, and that compromised his race. Is anyone into the pits because of this VSC? I don't see anyone into the pits right now, and I think everyone is staying out as you don't get enough.
I think they've resumed racing.
Yeah, we have resumed racing. In fact, the yellow flag's still out, but we have resumed racing. So VFX now, instead of those 10 seconds to Utkarsh, has now to catch 10 seconds to Racing Gupta, who is also on the same set of tires. So barring any penalties per se or any other incidents, it is VFX who is for the first time in season 4 not going to finish on the podium, Shah.
I want to see if Racing Gupta can catch up to Ashwin because they're on different tire strategies, and we have exactly 10 laps to go. So if he's able to cut down time on Ashwin and maybe get that P2, that would be interesting to see.
It will be interesting to see as Phantom has spun his car, which has seen him lose one position to Abjan, and now he will be under pressure from Sid Venkatesh, who is a fast charging Ferrari behind him. But good spot, Shah. Racing Gupta, let's see if he can actually catch up to Ashwin here. The gap doesn't really seem to be decreasing right now, but you never know when those medium tires will actually come alive, and Racing Gupta is able to take advantage of that as VFix, not surprisingly, not unsurprisingly, takes the fastest lap of the race. So he has a lot of pace, and he has eaten into the gap a little bit by
Yeah.
taking out 3 or 4 tenths from Racing Gupta's pace. But I think he will just run out of the laps at the end unless there's a safety car. So the gap at front, Shah, has been around though that 8 second mark. So I think that Caesar controlling pace. He knows he has enough time to ensure that even if he gets and even if he gets any time penalties, he will have the gap to Ashwin behind him. But the gap
Yeah.
now, Shah, for P2 and P3 is actually decreasing,
Three
and it's for
seconds,
the
yeah.
first time it's below 3 seconds now. So that's Racing Gupta actually pushing and trying to probably
So
have a
I think
shot
in
at
two
P2.
laps, he took out like 5 tenths from Ashwin. Yeah, and I mean on my time screen we could already see the times just been decreasing. Did Ashwin make a mistake?
I'm not sure, but I will definitely check if he has wing damage because the gap is decreasing like anything. As we have a comment from Utkarsh here that he has DNF'd in 3 out of 4 races so far. So that is unfortunate, Utkarsh, and
So
the
it's
gap is really
Pradesh.
coming down. The gap
Yeah,
is really coming down. I don't think he has damage. It's just that's a little weird to see. I know Racing Gupta is on faster tires, but the
yeah,
gap
but this
has.
is this is not we've been expecting like in such a short time. I think in span of the third lap we're talking about. He's pulled out 1.8 seconds. I think by the end of this lap, it should be 2 seconds behind Ashwin.
It's a little puzzling to see Ashwin struggle for pace in this manner, unless something has gone wrong. But nothing apparent here that it seems like something has gone wrong. Either ways, we will continue to stay on this battle because that is probably one of the closest battle we have right now. As Nishan is now behind Arjun Arun Shah, and Nishan will be getting points. It seems like because of time penalties for people ahead of him, and anyway we have points until position 12 if I'm right in this league. So Nishan, the division 2 driver, will be happy with some points,
But
and
wasn't Nishan disconnected?
he was, it seems like he has
Yeah,
joined back because the pace he's showing right now, I
yeah.
think he is, his car is still ghosted, so I'm not entirely sure if he has joined back. But
But
the
if it's him racing, I think good job from him because he haven't
yeah,
got any
because
penalties that
yeah,
will
he's
give
not
him
got any
a
penalties so
lot of
far,
positions. Yeah.
and it seems like he's racing himself because the car. I mean, I think the AI level which we use in this league is like 40 or something. So if
Right.
he's able to keep up with Arjun Arun Shah, who's not a slow driver at all, it could very well be that Nishan is racing and his complete control of his car is gap up front now. As he goes on that lava curve is this Nishan, but the gap up front is 1.5 seconds. So I think in 2 laps, if not lesser, Racing Gupta will be in DRS of Ashwin, and that would make things really, really interesting in the final few laps of the race.
Yeah. Racing Gupta doing a really good job.
He is so starting on those hard tires and ensuring he doesn't lose any positions at the start has really helped him out. He has more or less done his own race Shah here. He's controlled his own pace. He knew he probably didn't have the pace to fight the Williams at the start, or rather in the first stint, so he had the gap which he did not really worry about. And honestly, I was skeptical. Oh, Ashwin goes really, he's absolutely pushing his car as the gap now is 8
Less
tenths,
than a
so he
second.
will have DRS in the next corner. But yeah, I think he pit a lap or two later than I would have liked him to. But there's a reason why he is in this position, that he's able to use those medium tires to good effect, and getting P2 is probably more than what he could have hoped from this race, considering the
Yeah.
pace which Caesar and Ashwin have shown in the past. And this time around he will have DRS. I'm not sure if he'll be able to make an overtake, but he doesn't have a lot of battery left either, with just 20 odd percent with him. He's not using them, but he will use DRS to get close to Ashwin and ensure that he's able to take that P2 from him. As further behind, I believe, Shah, you are right, Nishan doesn't seem to be in control of his car because he's being caught by serial killer in the Alpha Tauri, and Nishan has lost touch with Arjun Arun Shah. So unfortunately for him, that power cut has ruined his race, and he is now going to lose the position to serial killer for P11.
Oh, Racing Gupta is just 2 tenths behind Ashwin, so
He is. So the next time they are on the start finish straight, if Racing Gupta is that patient that he wants to wait until the last finish straight, this seems like a move which is oncoming. He just needs to ensure that doesn't
he
get
doesn't get
any
any
5
penalties.
second or rather 3 second penalties. You are right, because driving into the dirty air of drivers can sometimes, you know, give you penalties because you lose downforce behind cars. But the saving grace for Ashwin this time around will be Discreet, who probably will
Giving
give
him
him
DRS.
DRS. And even if there was no DRS, that's the gap which Rishabh Gupta has right now. He's using his battery right now, but I don't think there's any chance of a move this time around because Ashwin has DRS and he was quite ahead. Anyways, Phantom gets a 3 second penalty, and it's, oh, what happened to Sid? Oh, it's fine now. I think that was, he lost his car somewhere, but he is being caught by Arjun here. Is Abjan has DNF'd? That's Abjan who has
Oh,
DNF'd at the exit. And is that going to be a safety car or anything like that? I don't think so.
no.
But Racing
He,
Gupta now within 2 tenths. This is really close for the final few laps, and all the time the Haas car of Discreet, I believe, is he would be getting blue flags if he's in control of his car. He has to move out of the way, but it is helping
but
Ashwin right now.
but also as a driver, it's so frustrating for Ashwin to stay behind the Haas because you want to get your braking point right. You don't want anybody to disturb. You just want to see the track properly and just keep driving fast.
Yeah, and there's another left car of Manan now. So Ashwin will overtake both of them as Manan seems to be coming into the pits. But I don't think Vicky will have a chance this time around as well. Ashwin does not have DRS. And is Vicky going to use, rather Racing Gupta going to use his DRS? Not really. So if I'm looking at the minimap, Shah, I
Yeah,
don't think they will catch up to any other lapped cars between now and the end of the race. So I
it's all
think next,
down to these guys racing.
yeah, so
Uh,
I think next lap is the lap where Racing Gupta will have the best possible opportunity. He knows that Ashwin is a fast driver and probably is saving up his ERS for the main straight. So this is going to be really interesting, and let's see
Yeah,
how this move pans
overtaking
out.
Ashwin is not as easy as we keep talking about because even if he's got DRS or ERS, we know Ashwin can pull out time, So I think in the last sector, if you see, also because of the dirty air, Ashwin gets that benefit, but he's always tried to maintain that distance. He's managing his ERS quite well. Since the last time I checked, it's only gone down 10%. So somebody chasing you down with DRS, ERS, and a much softer tires, it is a good job by Ashwin.
It is a good job indeed, and this time around, let's see how these guys go. Ashwin goes to the right. There's a
Glitchy.
glitch of a racing point somewhere. Ashwin takes the inside. Does Racing Gupta go all the way around the outside? I think he will. He'll have the inside for the next corner, but Ashwin gets a better exit and stays in front for this lap. But this is going to be intense for the final few laps of the race. And Shah, if I didn't know well, if I don't know any better, Ashwin could might as well hang on for P2 here, considering his pace and the defensive maneuvers he's making right now.
Yeah.
Right, back to the battle again, as Arjun Shah was almost within striking distance of Sid Venkatesh, but he has lost a few more tenths to him now. And Caesar, all the while, we have not focused him on at all, but we will go to him when he crosses the finish line. But for now, it's
So,
his teammate who's being chased by a racing point. Yes, sir.
so I think Autoball's serial killer is in a really good position. I think he'll jump up to P8, I believe, because with Sid V and Arjun Arun Shah having 6 seconds and 8 seconds with the penalties. Also, I think Nishan could get up to P9. Yeah.
Yeah, Nishan is definitely going to finish in the top 10 because of penalties for the drivers ahead of him. And Vicky is going to lose at least one position because he has 9 seconds of penalties and Tanish does not have any penalties. So it could have been a better result for Mercedes had Utkarsh not retired. But with one more lap to go, Shah, they're on lap
Yeah.
34. Racing Gupta, it's all or nothing.
He's
I would
got
not say
one
nothing,
last
it will
lap.
still
Yeah.
be P3 for him, and that's a very, very good result considering the quality of these drivers and considering that he gave Ashwin a real run for his money in the final few laps. But it just seems that Ashwin has the measure of him right now, and those medium tires, having done so many laps, now would be more or less at the same performance. Well, he has DRS, and he will have some advantage of that rear wing flap being opened. But considering that those medium tires have seen the best of their days and also behind other car for so long, it might not be.
Vifix is cut down 5 seconds. I think last time it was
Here we go.
9.5 seconds. Yeah.
Here we go. Last lap, and this is Racing Gupta for the last time. He's trying to make a move on Ashwin. It has not worked out right now, but he will have DRS for the next corner. But Ashwin, he'll cover the center of the track. It's Racing Gupta has gone really deep there, and that is definite contact between the two. And Racing Gupta does give the position back. It was a little bit of a dive bomb there, and seems like that they will finish P2 and P3 respectively, with Williams getting their first 1-2 of the season as they would have hoped to in previous races.
I think really good drive from both the drivers. They try to keep it clean every time they were racing. This does happen. I mean, a bit of contact is alright unless you don't damage each other like too much.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the adrenaline and the kind of build up we have had to this battle. A serial killer unfortunately gets 3 seconds. That
Caesar
might
finishes the race.
Caesar finishes the race.
Caesar. Yeah.
Absolutely